Here we are, fresh start. We're going a Pertam start on Distant Worlds prefab scenario. Here's a mod list. The mods I'm going to run. Quite a lot. I won't go through all of them individually, but that's the list. I have stopped the strange system after traveling 95 kilometers to the point of interest, Snake Eater Bravo number 1. I found absolutely nothing there. Just a floating GPS marker about a kilometer above the horizon. So kind of lost interest in that, and then also I flew on my way home, about halfway home, so still about 50 kilometers out from my base. I tried to fly over a mountain, which, I mean, I'd flown over plenty of mountains, but a particularly tall one. My Atmo thrusters lost power, and I was just too close to the mountain face to have any time. I had just a few seconds to try to orient my strongest thrusters and, you know, escape or arrest my velocity, but I failed and crashed into the mountain. Didn't feel like trying to recover from it since I'd already kind of lost a lot of interest when I got to that Snake Eater Bravo marker and found absolutely nothing there. So, new start, as I said, Pertam. Pertam has no ice lakes. Apparently ice is a little difficult to find, mostly about 10 kilometers from the equator, not so much through the rest of the planet. It's got super strong gravity. I think it was 1.2 Gs. So ships, and particularly hydrogen powered ships, are going to be a real challenge, which means leaving the planet will be a challenge. I'll probably go with space elevator. I've kind of wanted to build one of those anyways, so I'm thinking mining rover to start and space elevator, and then, you know, we'll go from there. So that's my plan. I will be recording so that I can skip over the copious amounts of mining, hand mining, I'm gonna have to do to get basic production started, and I will bring you back when I have kind of a good supply and can start designing a rover. Alright, here we are on Pertam. So, this is my temporary base with some walls, because I did turn on spiders, which I kind of forgot about until I got my first attack. So I've walled myself in here. Temporary base, potentially temporary, depending on whether or not I find ice nearby. My end goal is to have just the one base on the planet, and as I said, I wanted to do a space elevator, so I'm going to want that to be near the ice and my base as well. So once I do locate the ice, if it's pretty far from here, then we'll just scrap all this and relocate. I'm not 100%, I may be making kind of a large grid rover base for the search for ice, potentially, but in the meantime I need a mining vehicle. I didn't bother to highlight this at all because it's so completely bare bones. I didn't feel like it was worthwhile, but essentially It's just a rover with an ore detector, nothing more. Just a little scout vehicle that I wanted to be able to move quickly, cover a lot of ground, and not have to worry about the rollovers. Hence the weird wheels. So it performed a lot better than I expected. I was flying over the dunes, literally flying, like hundreds of meters at a time. And because of the no damage to wheel or subgrid, the wheels absorbed all the impact, and it just basically kind of skipped along. I was really surprised. It's very light, and I was amazed. I thought the 1.2 Gs here would weigh it down more than it does. It could be heavier, but I don't want to just start adding onto it just to make it heavier, because I don't know. I'm pretty much done with it, probably. Well, hopefully. I've found plenty of iron, silicone, nickel nodes. I found a few magnesium and plenty of cobalt, surprising amount of cobalt. Only one silver. I covered a lot of ground too. Only one silver node, no gold. I'm hoping for some reason the gold is just deeper and I'm not seeing it, even though I do have the mod that boosts the ore detector range. Usually, well, granted, I've never played on Pertam before, but usually silver and gold are like together. So far, it doesn't look like that's the case. Anyway, so I do still need to find gold, but maybe I'll just stumble upon that in my mining ship, which of course will have an ore detector as well. Not ship, mining rover. So yeah, I want to do a relatively simple small grid mining rover so I can start getting cobalt in. That's pretty much my first priority, so I can get the metal grids to whip up real refiners, real cargo capacity, real assembler, get all that up and running. Then it'd be nice to get some gold so I could do the yield, but if not, I don't know. Ice is a big priority. I've burned through all of my ice, kind of on accident, because I thought I was going to be able to whip up this O2 tank here and a vent, and use the vent, depressurize the vent and suck in O2 from the atmosphere, because I can actually breathe here. But then why am I worried about O2 in the first place if I can breathe here? Because certain storms, I don't know, whatever they're doing, they're reducing the O2. So my O2 will deplete during storms. So far, it hasn't gone to zero where I need to start accessing a bottle, but it still kind of worried me that it could. So I thought, you know what, let's just have a supply of oxygen. And I wanted to do that, anyways for my space elevator. I thought I could, have a vent down at the surface and fill up a bunch of O2 tanks up at the top for, refilling in space. But I guess the O2 is just a little too low for that to work here. It won't fill the tank, even though I can breathe. So anyway, because I built it, once I took it off depressurized, it burned up all my ice, making oxygen. So I have no more hydrogen refills. I really need to find ice. I don't know for sure what I'm going to prioritize after the cobalt yet. We'll see. Anyway, right now it's a mining rover. So my plan is as I said, a small grid, and then I'm going to try and make an aiming sort of like boom arm on drill assembly because I want good reach, so I'm probably going to do a conversion to large grid for those pistons. And it's just, you know, large grid drill will do a little better as well. And that's my plan, I think, rather than like a plunger system, just because then you have to really position the vehicle properly. So with what I'm envisioning, my vehicle position won't matter quite as much as long as I make sure I have a long enough arm, enough piston, enough reach, and I just point it at the node center, and that's that. So, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to get too crazy with it, too much like articulation in it, just because I've tried that before. It got pretty wonky and hard to manipulate. So yeah, I'll probably just go with something that definitely has a lot of reach, and hence the large grid pistons. And we'll see how that turns out. So I'll probably just go ahead and fast forward through this process.
you